Hello, everybody. It is me, Joe Dubs, here on Couch Entertainments, and I'm just going to get straight into it. So grab a drink, grab some snacks, and let's do some Couch Entertainments. Boy, oh boy, the Ark, Episode 9, Season 1. I don't know if I could take any more of this. It just seems like the show is just winging it at this point. Remember how I was giving it praise where it's just like, oh, William Truss is kind of interesting. Ooh, what is up with all these like rogue arc? What is Arc 15 all about? Why is Arc 15 shooting element whatever element that was, and attacking other arcs? I'm sure that's what the season finale is going to be all about. But I just feel like this season I can care less about most of these characters on the ship. Like the only ones that I'm like actually caring about is a little bit of Strickland, even though he's kind of like a supporting character, and Bryce and Ava. And Lane, I don't know. Lane is starting to do questionable things where I'm just like, this is kind of stupid, but maybe he might rebound. Because remember, I was giving praise to Lane, where I was like, he's the only sane one on the ship. And I feel that, he is acting well as far as his being mad at Sharon and Bryce for pretty much shunning him away just because of his, William Trust scholarship that he explains in this episode. But man, like right off the top, remember they got out of that faster than light FTL thing that was doing the warp bubble and all the time, and it looked all funny and kind of interesting at the same time, where they were seeing their future selves, and that's how they turned it off so that they could survive. Right off the bat, they're talking about like where they need to go, because they found out that Arc 15 is going to be at Proxima B, where they are heading to. So essentially, they're running into an ambush, and William Trust says we have a shield that can defend this, and they were just like, we need to go away from that area because we'll just get obliterated. And they're having a debate, and William Trust is there. They're all just like, this is a democracy. Because remember, Bryce is still pissed off because William Trust gave him clamp things, which is the disease that the chemical that they put in the atmosphere. Elena, I think that's her name, Mrs. Trust, is like, you need to take over now. And they all look at their tablets and they find out that they're locked out of the system security protocol. Now, here's the thing, like, I understand from their point of view, the crew, like, you know, I don't wanna go into, a situation where I could possibly die, so I kinda get their outrage on that part, but they're all giving, like, this thing where it's like, "This is our ship," and in reality, this is his ship. This is his project, this is his money. Essentially, this is his ship, so I don't understand the outrage on that. Now, I know a lot of people when they see a rich person, they go, "He's an asshole." And yes, they do play the rich assholes pretty well in this, but it doesn't change the fact that they own the ship, and this is their ship, and they should be able to do whatever they want with the ship. Now, is it morally wrong to possibly send them into danger where they all die? And they might be a little stupid on doing that to themselves of dying? Yes. But the outrage is kind of unwarranted in my opinion as far as saying this is my ship and I get to do whatever we want because I'm a lieutenant. You're not even a goddamn captain of the ship. So then they transition into half of the crew, and remember that we were making this prediction that there's going to be mutiny. So essentially I predicted this was going to happen, and I'm sure everybody and their mother is predicting is going to happen. And William Trust gets to Ava, pretty much says, "Hey, you know, do, do you trust Garnett's decision?" And the only reason why she's gonna commit mutiny is because of Bryce. Because if they go to the other part of the galaxy or whatever, whatever detour that they're doing, because of his disease, he won't make it. if they get the proximate B, they might be able to cure it in some manner. So that she's kind of doing it in good intentions, but she's still committing mutiny. So, they're discussing. Oh, and what Garnett does is, she has a feeling that going to proximate B is really dangerous, and she doesn't trust William Trust's shield. So she gets Alicia to do a backdoor. They do some weird acting where he's like, "I'm a mean rich guy," and she like runs away comically. So they go into their little chambers, the little secret room of the ship, and they're discussing how can we fight back. And Lane is kind of being like, I don't think Alicia did it, to harm him because they did a whole. William Trust was like mad that Alicia like outsmarted him. I'm like, shut up. Like, I get what they're trying to write. Like, these are just like, I'm above these people. But again, it's like written very comically, and whoever, is the actor of William Trust is just, it looks silly. It looks too stupid, in my opinion. Garnett gets on the loudspeaker to tell the whole ship, um, which again, I think this is pretty wrong after seeing that people were punching William Trust. And, obviously there was some people that were praising William Trust, that you would say on the loudspeaker that we are totally ignoring William Trust. And I know later down the road they find out that there was an option from William Trust that there was going to be a shield. But I still would kind of keep this, hush, hush, quiet, quiet, and all that stuff. And then do your mission to get to a different area. And then after the fact, tell the ship. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, that's morally wrong to do because, you're essentially lying to the people. But I will say, I will say, yeah, but then what happens in this episode kind of makes my argument that eventually they did split into halves and commit mutiny. Now, I'm still confused on this fact because I remember again, Lane went to go meet her and she was like, "Oh, actually, I just thought of it. Now I know why she was freaking out. Is because she was having a relationship with William Truss and she's more afraid of his wife. So I guess that's why she was all worried when Lane was talking about William Truss. So she's talking to Lane, and this guy over here overheard that William Trust had a shield, and we're starting to get some light about her. Everybody was right again, including me, that she is essentially a terrorist or the main enemy, because we find out later, when she's trying to fix her communicator, that her communicator from Ark 15 and not Ark 3. This is where William Trust talks to Ava about committing mutiny, and that he should trust his shield. This scene is hilarious. Where this guy, I love the extras, and like it's so comically bad on what happens because they're like, yeah, we had to do it. This is the best option, and they're like, no bullshit, and they start attacking each other, and it had very like Star Trek combat, like 60s Star Trek, and maybe like early Next Generation combat that was happening. Bryce is talking to Lane. Lane talks about like, no hard feelings, but I trust William Trust because of the scholarship, and that's how he got into the military. Um, and what they decide to do with Strickland, Garnett, and Bryce is, because those are the top people in the command chain, is to drug them with water. Um, Strickland's like, why is everybody out of the cafeteria? And then he finds out that he's drugged. Then Bryce and Ava, bump some nasties once again, and he's, swigging some water because what usually happens after that exercise. And he zonks out, and Garnett goes to the therapist, probably because of being attacked by her people on the ship. She's like trying to find some comfort, and then she gets drugged by her, and then the mutiny happens. They're like, we are in control of the ship, and we are gonna go to Proxima B. Now, I laughed at this, but I also like felt bad for him, and I was like, "Ah, Garnett hugged him," but like he wakes up and he's like all pissed off, and he's like, "Now everybody's gonna die in the ship," and this is where I kind of get a little annoyed, where I'm just like, he's mad now that they have to reroute, or like instead of going to Proxima B, he didn't want to go to Proxima B because he doesn't want to harm the people on the ship. But throughout the season, he kept his Clampton's secret and did all those outrageous missions that were life or death, which it could cause harm to the whole ship. That is totally ignored, but going to Proxima B and fighting Arc 15 is where he draws the line. I just think that was like written really, really stupid. And I don't know why that matters now than all the other times where he's literally passing out at the wheel of the ship. I don't know. Comment down below if I'm like overreacting at that point. Helena. I don't even know if that's her name. I think it's Helena. But I'll call her Mrs. Trust. Mrs. Trust and the therapist, because I always forget names sometimes. They're having like fruit and stuff and water, and just having a girls' night out. And William Trust is like, I'm ready for my session, because if you remember last episode, he's having an affair with her. And she kind of picks up on it. I don't think she's stupid, Mrs. Trust. I think she knows that she's banging him. And this is the part where she goes to an engineer to fix her communicator, and he turns it on. He's like, "Why is it Arc 15?" And then boom, his neck gets snapped by her. So now we officially know that she's a bad guy, and she is pretty much calling Arc 15. Um, she's being all risky and ready for another session, and William Trust is kind of like, "I can't do this." She's being suspicious, meaning his wife. Um, she gives him a kiss to just reassure him that, he's important to her, probably because of the food. Because the reason she did this is because he started sabotaging the food because of the mutiny. He's like, I'm gonna starve everybody to death because of this mutiny. And I just thought that was kind of stupid, because you're trapped on a ship. It's not like you can go to a different country and, be safe with all the food. Um the doctor scene, I could just care. I just don't care about it. Because she's told the sedatives to put all those people to sleep, just so that they could do the mutiny. They're all in there, and Alicia decides that she's gonna lock everybody out again because of the mutiny. And Mrs. Truss is like, you need to take this to the next level. And he's like, I'm going to take the air out of this room, and they will die because of Alicia's actions. And because of how cheesy it is, she does her great acting of saying, please help them. And she reverses the situation, and they are back to life. And she she says she's sorry, and William Tress is kind of like, yeah, I think she gets that I mean business, but Mrs. Tress is like, but she could be a threat to the ship. And what she Mrs. Tress was telling William Tress is that you need to kill her and not make her a prisoner, because she could just hack her way out of the rooms and stuff because of how smart she is. Again, this is drawing the line for all the people because Ava is like, this is wrong. Lane is like, this is wrong. And they all fight Lane, um, Lane and the Trust family. Everybody who was pretty much committing mutiny. Now, I don't know. I started liking Garnett, and now I'm starting to hate her again because, like, she did this unnecessary punch, and I get it that he was taking control. But if the shoe was on the other foot, wait, yeah, if the shoe was on the other on her feet of what his situation was, I think she would have done the same thing because she started second guessing herself, and they all have a conference. Alicia got off the hook because eventually she was trying to help them by locking out and then obviously unlocking so that they could live. Ava is kind of off the hook a little bit because she ended up doing the right thing at the end. In real life, if this was military, they would all be in prison. But again, they're on a ship of survival, and she is the only engineer. So I guess I can get that point. But her and Bryce is probably, done because that's kind of fucked up that she had sex with him just to drug him and stuff. Man, imagine if the roles were switched on that point where if the guy drugged her after sex, that would not look good on screen, huh? But I guess it's okay for a female to do it. Anyway, moving on. Um, so Arc 15 shows up because of the terrorist on the ship, uh, communicated where they were and they put on the shield and just to show that this rich asshole who is the smartest man in the galaxy and that you should never trust a rich person, his technology didn't work and it's not going to hold up against Arc 15. And essentially that's where the episode ends, where I guess the last 3 episodes are going to come down to the attack between Arc 15 and who is behind Arc 15 and why they're doing it. I don't know, man. This episode kind of like pissed me off because I'm just like, the writing is so stupid and the acting doesn't help either. Like, I don't mind if the acting is terrible, but when you have shitty writing, is where it's just like it draws the line for me. And it better pick up in these last 3 episodes where I want to watch season 2 because if we get through 3 episodes and it's just the same shit writing, then I don't know if I can get through season 2. But this episode kinda pissed me off, and I kinda do not recommend this episode. Like, the other episodes where I kinda praise it, where I was like, "Oh, I kinda like that where the direction is going." Their execution is not looking good, and based off of this, I don't know if they could, land the 3 episodes of, doing that execution, but I guess we will see. So until next time, everybody, and make sure you like and subscribe to this video. And if you have any comments, please comment down below. I love, seeing your guys' comments, whether it be about, science, whether you hate the people on this ship. I do love seeing that. So like and subscribe and comment and hit that bell if you want more notifications. But I will see you in the next video and I will see you on this couch. Peace.